Testing.
I'm going to call the meeting to order, which I just did, and the next item on the agenda is public comments. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Seeing none, I do not have the minutes from the last meeting, but we'll make sure and get those and prepared for the next meeting. We do not have any presentations, do we, chiefs?
No, ma'am.
No. And no old business at this time. So item 6 under new business, we'll go ahead with the fire department's October 2025.
Thank you, Alderman. The first couple pages of the report is just a summary. If you want to turn to page 6, we'll start with our staffing. For the month of October, we had 46 sworn firefighters on the roster. We have 51 budget for the fiscal year. We had 42 assigned to shift. We had our training officer and our community risk reduction officer out of their office. They were back on shift covering some of the empty spots. We still have our four part-time interns. And then we had one person that was on light duty for pregnancy and the other one off on medical injury. So we had 44 active personnel. Staffing level has been at 51 for the entire fiscal year. We haven't been at that level. We haven't been staffed fully for over a period of almost a year now. Looking here, now that we have the contract hopefully taken care of, we'll be starting to process people, getting people on in those empty spots. Hopefully we'll be to full staff sometime in the next few months. If you want to talk to, turn to page 7, we'll start with talking about our bills. Page 7 through 10. On page 7, the only thing that really stands out is out of the ordinary. We had really nothing on page 7 actually stands out as out of the ordinary for the month.
Did you have a question? Okay.
On page 7, our fuel bill for the month was $4,678. We had a major repair to engine 6. It was $20,693.53 from Fleet Pride. Our bill from Kankakee was $33,887.88. On page 9, we had some door repairs at Station 4 and Station 5 was $1,331. We had our annual physicals done for the year with MH Occupational Health. It was $35,210. And that's really the other ones that stand out. So the total bills for the month of October was $111,897.52.
Are there any questions for the chief on the bills? Alderman Osenga?
Chief, on your annual physicals, what exactly do they check?
All the blood work. Every 5 years, they do chest x-rays. We're doing cardiac stress tests now. All the lung tests, eyesight, all the regular physicals that we normally do. It's just, it's a standard that we're trying to get to for the physicals for all of our firefighters. Our new firefighters start off getting these physicals, and we're trying to get all of our personnel up to that level.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? Alderman Jones?
Thank you, Chairwoman.
Oh,
Chief, Engine 6, that turbo repair, is that one of our older?
So Engine 6 is a 2009 Sufton. It is frontline. We have a sister engine that is in reserve status.
Okay.
Both of them have been, we've had a lot of mechanical issues with them over the years. Unfortunately, these things are hard to predict, especially with the turbo blowing, the fans coming apart. they take precaution, trying to make sure that nothing gets into the engine itself, but it's a very tedious repair. And then they had problems getting some of the parts because the vehicles are so old that it took weeks to find the right part. And it was actually out of service for over a month, I believe.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Before I ask for a motion for that, I did forget to do roll call, but I do have everybody written down on the sign-in sheet, so we'll consider that roll call. So is there a motion to approve the fire department bills in the amount of $111,897.52?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Osinga, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Jones. I'm going to do a roll call. Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Prude.
Aye.
Alderman O'Brien.
Aye.
Alderman Osinga.
Aye.
Alderman Naveras.
Aye.
Alderman Cobb.
Aye.
And Alderwoman Swanson is an aye. Bills are paid.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to our overtime report for the month of October. If you turn to page 11 through 14, we had a really decent month with overtime, very little hours accumulated, totaling $3,285. This is probably the least amount of overtime we've had in a period of almost 2 years. And it is attributed to, we don't have anybody going to school right now for their EMS, their paramedic license, and nobody's taking vacation in October. They're saving it for hunting season, and, they take it mostly during the summer, too. But our overtime will increase when we start hiring people, because we'll be sending them to school and filling in those spots. Page 14 is just our budgeted overtime balance. We're still sitting pretty good for the rest of the remaining of the year, but as the mayor pointed out last night, when we get the retro checks for our contractual obligations, that we'll see a significant increase next month in the overtime and the salary line items. If there's no questions, I can move on to our vehicle repair, vehicle information report. Turn to page 15 and 16 is the maintenance that was conducted for the month on our vehicles. Like I said, we had a major repair for engine 6's turbo, which was very costly. A lot of the other repairs are just general maintenance to the fleet. We did have some other mechanical issues come up in the last few days. We are still waiting on the new apparatus to be delivered, hopefully in April, with a new fire engine, and then later in the year will be our new aerial. Until then, we're really in a very tight predicament with our vehicles. We're trying to maintain, do general maintenance, but also most of the stuff that we're doing is emergency repairs. Our vehicles are aging, and it's no fault to this administration, because we've been getting new apparatus. It just takes so much time to get the new ones on the road. I mean, we ordered the aerial and the engine 2 years ago now, and, we're lucky we're getting them next, hopefully at the end of this fiscal year, beginning of next fiscal year, because we definitely need them. On page 17, I believe it is, 17 and 18 is our vehicle report, the status report. Basically, the vehicle description, and when we bought the vehicle, what we paid for it, what the total maintenance cost has been since we bought the vehicle, and then what a projected cost for a new vehicle would be. At the top 5 vehicles are ambulances, and the bottom 6 are engines and our aerial that's now out of service. At the back of at the end of the report, it says NFPA recommend reserve replacement years. That's what they recommend is frontline and then reserve status. And as you can see, the years that we've had it in, next to it has age and status, years and status, how many years it's been frontline and where it's at now. All of our vehicles are well past the recommended time on the street and in reserve status. It's just, we're trying to do some, maintenance to keep these vehicles on the road long term, but unfortunately, we're just gonna have to really consider replacing them as we go. The one vehicle that we talked about last month was engine 4, It is a 2005. We had it refurbished. We're going to try to rely on that as frontline for a few more years, but that's something we're going to have to reconsider, consider replacing in the next, 2 to 3 years, at least getting something ordered, because it's going to take 2 years to get that replaced. As for our ambulances, as you see, even our newest ambulance, the 2022 Ford F-550, it's been in front line for 3 years now. And, another 2 years, 3 years, we're going to have to really consider getting that replaced too also. These vehicles, they're on the road all the time. They're running their wheels off as of late. A lot of patients being transported to the hospital, and it's very hard to keep these ambulances on the road. Our 2002 Ford E350 ambulance, we need to consider scrapping that in the next year or so, because it's really worthless to us. Right now, we're only using it as a last-ditch effort to have, an ambulance in case the other 4 go down. The ambulance which we just purchased as used, the 2014 ambulance, it's been in the shop quite a bit. As a matter of fact, we spent $18,000 on it in the last year since we've had it for repairs. Hopefully that's behind us and we use that as a good reserve. But it's these ambulances are like vehicles that are like the police cars. They're always on the road. They're always getting miles put on them. If you turn to the next page, it's just our staff vehicles. It's another report of how many years we've had it and how the cost of them and what it costs to replace them.
I have one question.
Sure.
On the engine 4, we paid like almost $400,000 in '22 to refurb it. Is the 1,856 miles what we put on since it's been refurbished?
That's 1,856 hours. Yes, since we refurbished it, yeah.
Since we've gotten it redone, that's how many miles are on it. Does anybody have any questions? Alderman Navarez?
Engine 5, Chief, 2022, we paid $589,394. Total maintenance cost $434,785.60.
Yeah, I think that's probably a typo. I don't believe we spent that much money on maintenance on that vehicle.
Can you just check into that, maybe?
Oh, I know we haven't spent, I know we haven't.
I was going to say, that's
It may be 34,000.
about
Might be
86%.
34,000.
34, yeah.
34,000. I don't think it definitely hasn't been 434,000, no.
Okay.
Good
Alderman
catch though,
Cobbs?
Alderman. Thank you.
Thank you. I've never seen this list before. Have you always been doing this something new?
Well, we haven't put this in the public safety report. We've done this a couple different times in the last 4 years, but we don't put it in monthly, no.
I like it. It's informative. Barring any typos, but other than that.
Yeah, we'll get that, we'll check for next month. I'm gonna continue putting this in these reports
Yeah.
from now on.
Any more questions on the vehicles? Okay, thank you, Chief. Wanna keep
Okay.
going?
Yeah, we can go on our call volume for the month. We ran 687 calls, 414 were ambulance calls. We had 5 confirmed structure fires, totaling damages of $93,000. We did run 13 calls outside the city limits to assist other fire departments. Page 20, you'll see basically the runs that we had for the month, as detailed as they could possibly be. We don't have the addresses though, but we're looking to be more detailed in our reports in upcoming months. EMS calls, page 19 through, 9 through 21, 24 through 25. We had 444 EMS calls with patient contact. We had 31 ambulance calls turned over, 23 to Elite, 6 to Riverside, and 2 to other fire departments. We've had a total of 194 turnovers, ambulance turnovers, which means 194 patients have been transported by other ambulances to the hospital for the 2025 calendar year so far. Page 23 is our fires for the month. the addresses and the damage that was total that we estimated. Page 24 is a report on our disposition for ambulance calls, what we were initially called for.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you transfer these people to the hospital?
The 414 were, yes. There is a report in here about refusals, page 25. Non-transported, it was about 1% that we didn't transport.
Thank you.
Did you have another question?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Page 26 is just our ambulance turnovers per month for the last about almost 2 years now. And you know who they typically transport by, either Elite or Riverside. Moving on to our billing, fire billing, we're again in the month in rear, so the month of September, we received $2,103.60 in billing. Total fire billing for the calendar year 2025 was $35,809 that we recouped in billing. EMS billing on page 29, we received over $400,000 in the month of September, bringing our total to the calendar year to $3,234,079.91. And about $1,145,000 will be paid back to the state as of right now for the calendar year that we've collected. No questions on our billing. Move on to our fire prevention report. For the month of October, we did school drills. We had education events mainly at the schools. We did 18 other public education events. We did 126 fire safety inspections and re-inspections. We installed 11 smoke detectors and 4 carbon monoxide detectors. No questions on the fire prevention efforts. Those page 30 through 34. We can move on to the community risk reduction, which we have no report since our community risk reduction officer is on the street, as well as our training officer. But the training that was conducted for the month of October, we did a lot of the school drills, but also we did some fire training, fire attack in apartment buildings, EMS training, and the like. The calendar is at the last page of the packet there.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief LaRoche? Alderman Marzak?
I just have one that looks like a crossover between the police and fire, showing an arson in the 4th Ward over off of East Avenue, but that's actually the 2nd Ward, but I don't see it on page 5.
I think
Page 23, I'm sorry.
And if that's been because it had such limited damage, that wasn't noted.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't have any significant loss, we typically don't note it.
Gotcha.
I mean, we have it as incident that we don't put in the report.
Gotcha.
Any other questions for Chief LaRoche? Thank you, Chief. Next item on the agenda would be Chief Kidwell with the Police Department activity reports for October.
Sure, okay. The police department's currently budgeted for 67 officers. We currently have 66 officers. With that being said, we're down really 12 officers because we have 2 in the academy, 2 in field training, 1 on administrative leave, 3 on light duty, and 4 on FMLA. So that will be reflected in our overtime budget. Plus, we have the mandated training that we're trying to complete as of right now. We're doing our use of force training, which requires all 66 officers to attend. As far as the academy, we have Parsons and Forker at PTI right now. We have Long and Matthews in our FTO program. They recently graduated from the academy. We've got 2 slots saved for January reserved. We have 3 for May, 3 for August. I'm hoping we don't need them, but we do have them reserved if need be. For the month of October, the PD recovered 14 firearms, and KMEG recovered 7, so I think we did pretty good for the month of October. 21 guns we took off the street. We're currently holding pretty steady at 250 Verkada cameras. We still have the 8 flock LPRs, and we're up to date on our training. As for the overtime, overtime is $41,781.27, and as a lot of that is from shift shortage. It's tough trying to man the streets and do our training. Plus, we do have the traffic details going on right now, so that's reimbursed. Some of it is reimbursed. I mean, the U.S. Marshal Task Force, we get reimbursement from that, our ATF Task Force. Obviously, TCAT, which Sergeant Johnson's in that, they reimburse all his overtime, but it's still, you know, when you're down 12 officers, it does hurt you. So that's why our overtime budget is very high.
Any questions on the overtime?
I'll move on to the bills. One of the bigger bills you'll see is the Axon Enterprise, the taser cartridges. That was a contract we signed a couple years ago. It was $130,000. We did the initial payment. It's $29,022 a year from then on, and that carries on till 2027. And those, so every officer is required to shoot 4 tasers in order to be certified every year. So that's just part of the program. It's kind of a monopoly. They own the market on it, so we have to pay it. It's a great tool, but it does cost us. Moving on to second page, Alderman Marzak, you did bring up a good point. I do notice that we do have at Autoplex, we have a brakes and auto, brake pad and rotor repair for $1,871. I don't know if that's right. I'm checking because I see Joe's for the same thing was $819. So obviously there's something either not listed or some other repairs were done or there's a discrepancy in this. So I'll find out. The other big note on that page is obviously our dispatch. The fire department covers a third of it. Our portion is $62,934.63. Moving on to the third page, one you'll see is CSAT basic SWAT training. That's for the guys that we send to Texas for SWAT training. We're joined the Kankakee County SWAT team, and every officer that is in that outfit or in that SWAT team, they have to go to Texas and complete their 1 week training, and that's where, so we're sending 3 officers here real soon. Moving on down, you'll see the vehicle equipment. All that is covered under the capital expense from the new vehicles that we purchased. We purchased 4 new squad cars. We're in the process of equipping them. The older squad cars that the officers were driving in patrol, we've stripped them down, and they're going to the Detective Bureau, and the Dodge Chargers will be coming off the street. So you won't really see any Dodge Chargers unless it's the ghost cars that you see parked around, so I'll probably keep 2 or 3 of them around just so we can park in the neighborhoods. But other than that, the Dodges are almost gone. Let's see. So if there's any other questions, let me know, but the bills total $132,843.54.
Does anybody have questions for the chief on the bills? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the police department bills in the amount of $132,843.54.
So moved.
I have a motion from Alderman O'Brien. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Osinga. I'm going to do roll call. Alderman Jones?
Aye.
Alderman Prude?
Aye.
Alderman O'Brien?
Aye.
Alderman Osinga?
Aye.
Alderman Navarez? Aye. Alderman Cobb's? Aye. Alderman Swanson is an aye. Motion carried. The bills are paid.
Okay, I'll move on to the monthly stats. For the number of incidents for the month of October was 6,952. We handled 361 cases. We made 133 adult arrests, 3 juvenile, 308 traffic stops, 577 citations were issued, 97 foot patrols, we recovered 14 firearms, KMEG recovered 7. I did have Jeremy add TCAP motor vehicle thefts to our stats. We're up about 45% this year from last year in auto thefts. So right now in the city, we've had 71 vehicles stolen. And just last month, one guy stole 8 of them. We've locked him up. He continues to get out. He is locked up right now, but that's the Safety Act that we're talking about. We cannot detain these guys. So that's what we're dealing with. It's a non-detainable offense.
Stealing cars?
Yeah, you can steal all the cars you want and you won't go to jail, unfortunately.
Go to a new car lot then.
Chief, we can't even chase them or nothing?
Well, we do chase them. I mean, a lot of times we get weapons and stuff out of the car too, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. I mean, it's a travesty is what it is.
And what kind of cars are being stolen?
Anything that he can get his hands on. So he'll go through the neighborhoods. You've probably seen him on some of your Ring cameras. He'll pull on the car doors. So a lot of people leave their keys in their cars. At one car that we had stolen, somebody left their firearm in the car, so then you have a firearm, out there too that's stolen. So it's just, like I said, it's a travesty that we're dealing with. It's not just us, it's all over the state. That, TCAT, their numbers are phenomenal. They do a great job, but unfortunately, unless they do something really egregious, we can't lock them up. Now, this guy is currently detained. He stole another car, so they do have him detained for now, and hopefully we'll be able to hold him. So, but it is frustrating, I can tell you that. Accidents, we had 105. We did have the one homicide in the 200 block of North Evergreen, and our shots fired calls or related calls were at 19 for the month. If you go on down, you can see the graphs. One that stands out obviously is mental health. It was 62, last month it was 48. Domestic related calls, 135. Death investigations, we did have 6 deaths. Most of them were from natural causes. We did have 1 OD. We know there was drug paraphernalia and drug-related items at the scene. I haven't got confirmation from the coroner yet, but I'm going to guess it's a drug overdose. And then our business checks were up for the month, 1864, and our extra patrols were at 1260, so those numbers are good. No questions, I'll move on to the calls for service by beat. They trend pretty much the same. The west side, really our K-21, K-12, they're the large majority of our calls, and they pretty much trend the same each month. No questions, I'll move on to our monthly citations. One number that stood out to me was our city ordinance for the month. Last month we had 13, this month we had 114. And I think a lot of those were expired registrations parked on the street. The officers were issuing citations or city ordinances for that. And then you can see the other traffic-related citations. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have any on the citations.
Good.
All right, moving on to our NIBRS Group A crimes reported. They're broken down by wards. Obviously, the big one that stands out is the first ward. We had the homicide in the 200 block of North Evergreen. And then on the second ward, you'll see the deadly weapons. We did a search warrant.
Well, sorry,
Chief.
Alderman Jones has a question for you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I guess on that homicide, we doing anything with it, or?
Well, right now, we're really just trying to gather data from the technology that we have. I mean, we got some cell phones, we're waiting on to get some, information back on that. We do have some people of interest, but, we've had that before, so we don't like to get too far out in front of ourselves because sometimes, the information that we have isn't always what you think it is, so.
I get it, I get it.
But we do have some cell phones in our possession that we're going through.
I
Trying to
see.
put things together.
All right.
But you also see in the second ward, we had deadly weapons 8. We did do a search warrant in the 600 block of South Greenwood, and we recovered 5 firearms in just that one search warrant. So that was a good investigation too. That Detective Hudmer, he did some really good police work, and which led him to that house, and he recovered 5 guns. One was an AR-15 too, so I was pretty happy with that. Next page is your NIBRS Group B crimes report, and then the final page is your non-reportables.
Any questions for the chief on any of those reports? Okay.
If no questions, the next page is the Part 1 index crimes by ward and block. So we have those broken down by ward and street. Okay, if no questions on the Part 1 index crimes, I believe the last page is the foot patrols, and I know we did pretty good on the foot patrols this month. They were up quite a bit, so they're broken down by area, location.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the chief? Alderman Osinga?
Chief, I don't know if you can speak on it. I just found somebody in the river, deceased in the river. Is that somebody just fall in, or do we know, or can you say?
We've scoured over, we do have cameras down there, so what we do know is that the last contact he had was with Bradley Police Department, October the 17th. We do know that he frequented the dam area, but, we had some reports he was reported missing. He wasn't reported missing. He was a homeless man. He did frequent down there, and I know Bradley had contact with him on October 17th, and to our knowledge at this point, that's the last contact anyone had with him. So we're going to continue to scour our cameras and see if we can locate him at a location prior to that, the drowning or, whatever transpired to, cause him to be in the river, but that's all we have at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Chief Campbell? You again?
Yeah. Not a question, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I sit on Crime Stoppers Board, we had a meeting yesterday, and Kankakee County Crime Stoppers got a call, the guy was in Chicago. And he says, hey, I know where your Chicago PD are looking for this guy for a murder, and I'm gonna tell you right where he's at. He goes, well, we're Crime Stoppers in Kankakee. He says, I don't care. So he gave him the information, and Crime Stopper guy called the U.S. Marshals in Chicago. They went over there and snatched the guy up, took him into custody right away. And the U.S. Marshals paid him $30,000 Crime Stopper tip. The U.S. Marshals, not us. The U.S. Marshals gave the guy $30,000. So if you know anybody, I just thought that was interesting. I about fell out of my chair.
That's a lot of money. Okay, we have no need for an executive session tonight. Item 8 would be alderman comments. Is there any comments from the alderman? Nothing? Great. Okay, hearing that no one has any more business, I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:06.
Second.
Alderman Cobb's made the first and Alderman Pruitt second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.